Hey guys, it's Sid. Welcome to the Hangout. Today I'm joined by a talented singer-songwriter who I'm so excited to have on the show. It's the Hallie famous Ria Mae.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, pumped.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Vancouver.
It's nice to see you again.
Yes, always. So you've been on tour with Dido.
Yeah.
How has that been going?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
She's incredible. The band's incredible, and they're just super sweet people. So we feel really lucky to be on the tour.
Have you learned anything from her over the past shows?
I'm learning some style tips from her.
Ooh.
Because we've been dressing kind of similar sometimes by mistake. So I think I'm just like being around her, I'm getting more stylish.
What's her signature style?
I don't even know, but she just always dresses really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really like this top though.
Thank you. I'm
Super
trying to be Dido.
Ooh.
That's weird. I'm
You're
not
getting
trying to
there.
be into it. Anyway, next question.
You had your headlining show last year at the end of the year.
Yes.
You've been playing a bunch of new songs.
Yes.
How has it been finally getting those songs that you've been working on for a while now out into the world?
It's been cool, and I always do sneaky, put in a new song into the set without announcing it, just so I'm not nervous being like, here's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been sort of sneaking them in, but it was good to finally get some out. And then yesterday I released an acoustic version of the same EP.
Yes.
Just because Chris and I, my bandmate, often kind of strip things down and go back to I've been getting my music is kind of getting really poppy, but I come from a folk sort of singer-songwriter background.
Do you find when you do these acoustics songs and setups that you're more connected to the songs?
Yeah, more connected to the songs, more sort of experimenting with just changing things up, you're not so locked in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just feel closer to people because there's something cool about, it's so cliche, but there is something cool about older music that's just a guitar and a vocal, and it's not polished, and just been craving that lately. And yeah, I think it's my favorite parts of our sets are when Chris and I just break things down really minimally.
Nice. If you want to talk about your trip to Nicaragua.
Oh yeah.
Is that
feels
where?
like a long time ago.
How long ago was that?
I think it was last year.
It was only last year.
Nicaragua, we went to there's this writing camp that happened down there, and it was blind dating, no one knew who else was going. And I just said yes because it was Nicaragua.
Mm-hmm.
And down there I met up with one of the other people I didn't know was Frank Cadillac from Neon Dreams.
Nice.
So on day one they put us together. They didn't know that we knew each other, and we had never written before, even though we're both from Halifax.
Mm-hmm.
And on day one of that camp we wrote Hold Me, which is on the EP. And yeah, he came with us for the whole headline tour last fall. So yeah, it was cool. An amazing experience. It's so nice to get, I think for anyone, not just songwriters, but just to get out of your normal surroundings, because we start to take things for granted and miss a lot of things. And when you're in somewhere new, you're just so present because you're like, okay, what is that bug I've never seen before? What is that sound? And there's something about it that just makes you more present or something.
Did you write a lot of the Stars EP over there, or?
No, it was just, oh no, I shouldn't say that. I wrote Hold Me and It's Not Me, It's You, so two of the songs there. But
Nice.
They were that camp sort of formed the feeling. Those two songs kind of formed the feeling of what I wanted to put on.
Nice. For Hold Me, such a unique song. How did you guys come up with that concept?
We came up that. We didn't even think we had started the songwriting session. We were just catching up.
Mm-hmm.
And, Frank, his band, Neon Dreams, sort of famously or infamously was on that Headley tour, and they chose to leave it. They had their own personal reasons for leaving that tour, and they got a lot of sort of hate from it. So a lot of just weird negative social media. And then I was just going through struggling with seeing so much news and having anxiety, and we were just sort of talking about that, and then that led to that song. So that song for us was just needing, it's Hold Me, we just needed a hug, but just also talking about our anxieties and how things just felt easier before now.
You took a social media detox.
Yeah.
Why did you feel that you needed that?
Yeah, I'm so affected by the news. I'm still not on Twitter. I'm so affected by the news, the stuff that's happening on the border right now in the States. We can't even talk about it because it just affects me so much. And you know, I envy people who that stuff doesn't affect, because I want to be able to control my state of mind. Everyone does, right? You want to be happy all the time, but like, it's I just can't do it. So I had to, even though it's probably not good for my, you know, my business, I just had to come off of it because it affects me really negatively.
Yeah, it like starts snowballing together. If you stay there. Yeah,
and it's like, you know, humans are so like, when we get bored, we want to fidget with our phone, and it's like, if every time you're fidgeting, you're seeing like all the bad news of the whole world. You know, of course you want to help and not just ignore it, but there's a line. I don't know where the line is, but there's a line somewhere that.
And that's why that song is so special. Do you find that with that song, when you sing it, you feel more comfort and you feel like the world's safer?
Totally. Yeah. And just being able to sing it with Frank, who's just such a wonderful like spirit, like such a great person. That just, yeah, like me and him like singing that every night and realizing that we're both not in that bad place that we were when we wrote it is pretty cool.
Awesome. I want to talk about the music video, which is super adorable, with the little skater girl. Was that like a mini Ria?
Yeah, I talked to the director, Kat Weber, who's like so cool, and she does like, she edits a lot of like Drake's videos, and she's like, look Kat Weber up because she's like so dope. And we used her as a director, and she just came up with this idea to have a little girl that like represents me, which I loved. And I was super like tomboyish and did skateboarding and all that, and they found the perfect little girl. I forget her Instagram handle, but her name is Faye, and she's a skateboarder. It's probably like Faye the skateboarder or something. She's so good. And then it was just me and Frank being like Puff Daddy and Mace. Which is like a reference for people that are like in their 30s, but like we found ourselves pretty cool. Yeah.
Nice. How come there was no Ria skating? Like you and her.
You know what? I lost that magic touch that I used to have with skating. I can like maybe rollerblade, but I didn't think that it would be good for my brand if it was just me rollerblading in my video.
I think that'd be interesting.
I know, I was mad about it. Next video.
For Not Your Type, it's such a, you mentioned before that that's a song that you've never felt more you.
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
You know what's funny too, and I have a bit of like, I think all songwriters do, I have a songwriter ego where like so many of my songs are written by just me, or if they're co-written, it's like a collaboration where it's my concept and someone helps me. This is the most I've not written a song. I wrote it with Simon Wilcox, who is an incredible, like her story is incredible. She's from Canada. She's written some of Nick Jonas's biggest hits, and like her resume is incredible.
Wow.
And I've always wanted to meet her and work with her. And you know, if I'm being honest, she wrote more than her fair share of this song, but it was from conversations and just she's so incredibly talented. But she was taking the words out of my mouth on this song, and it just, I've never had someone do so much. It was maybe 70-30 or 60-40 of the song, and it felt so much like me, and it says a lot about her talent. But it's just like, about the actual topic of the song, it's like I've always been, to my detriment, maybe sometimes too polite, or like, it's okay if you don't like me, but you know what, let's just not even date in the first place. If you don't like me, like, you know, like so polite that maybe I've missed opportunities, but I just think it's a cute song and it's super upbeat and fun. So. And
also on the Spotify wallpaper, there's like, it's kind of like a Tinder thing. If you swipe it, you see different personas of you.
Yeah, it's just me.
What was it like dressing up in like different?
You know, it's so funny. Like that's the only place you can see that. But like I have this regular makeup artist and friend named Misty Fox in Toronto, and she's so cool. And she just came over to my house one day, and we just thought it was hilarious. Like we weren't like drinking alcohol or doing anything that would make us think that was more funny than it was. But we just did like dressed up in a bunch of clothes and did a bunch of things, and then just did like a Tinder swipe. Because like not your type. I don't know.
That's like the coolest concept, though.
It's a funny. I can't even look at those pictures of myself, but I'm happy that we did it. Yeah.
You did mention your stripped down versions and stuff.
Yeah.
Can we see more of that? Like maybe like a full acoustic show someday?
I'm definitely thinking about doing that because I think in my career the last few years I've wanted to like know how people make good pop songs, and I want to get my show better and more, interesting, and along the way sometimes you lose little parts of yourself that you kind of start missing, and I do miss the acoustic. I used to just play me and an acoustic guitar and no one else, so I'm thinking about it. I have no plans right now, but I'm definitely thinking about it, and it makes me super happy just to kind of have to be off tune and just who cares sort of thing. Like,
just jam out.
Yeah, I just kind of love it. I'm kind of craving that like roughness of it.
Nice. I think you also mentioned that you are working at your songwriting more and more, and you see that you're getting better. How is that kind of measured? How do you see that you're getting better? It's
impossible to measure. There's no measurement, and it's really frustrating because sometimes the better I get, then I get paranoid that I've lost something. like, all right, I've been co-writing a lot. I'm learning from great people. And then I, go back to my room and I'll start writing something and I'm like, oh, did I lose the thing? I've never thought about that before until this year, but I think I'm getting better technically, and I'm very aware of trying to not co-write too much anymore. Okay. And just start writing on my own again, because it's I don't know if this is a super boring topic, but it's just such different things. Like co-writing and writing by yourself are two different, they shouldn't even belong in the same genre of things. So I've done a lot of co-writing in the last year and a half, and I'm just trying to dial it back, I guess.
For co-writing, is it like you guys just sitting and like spitting out ideas right now?
Exactly. So writing with someone else, which is like sometimes my personality is I can only be so open with like a stranger, right? Obviously, everyone's like that. And sometimes you meet someone, you click with them, and it's great. And then other times it's like surfacey, and you don't want to put out an idea because it might be embarrassing and that sort of thing. But at the same time, you get other people's, I have some in the songs I've written on my own, like there's some weird rhymes in Ooh Love. When I sing it now, I'm like, why did I say that? Like if there was a co-writer in the room, they would have been like, no, it makes more sense to like say every day instead of all of my days. Like that makes no sense. But there is something special about that song too, because I know exactly what I wrote it about, and I can see myself, in that situation that I was in. And
so you do go back and compare sometimes to be like, oh, I remember writing this part, and then kind of reference off.
Yeah, when I'm performing on stage, I almost always go back to like either the situation I wrote it about, or just remembering literally where I was when I wrote it.
Nice. You do have fans that come up and tell you certain songs changed your life. Do you have one that sticks out the most to you?
Thoughts on Fire when people say, I always wait for it, and they're like, it's always those people, they'll have like a little tear in their eye, or I can tell that they're entrepreneurs. I always know that it's like, they're like, your song Thoughts on Fire, and I'm like, I know you started a business and no one believes in it. It's my favorite thing. Like people like, I started making bracelets and my husband doesn't believe me, but that's all I want to do. And like that is my favorite, because that song for me is like just about believing in it's so simple. It's like childish lyrics, but it's like just that simple thing of like, you have to tell yourself that it's possible even if no one else around you thinks it's possible. And yeah, that's my favorite. Like they're my favorite people. Like, when someone's like, I like Clothes Off, I'm like, oh, thank you. But when someone likes Thoughts on Fire, I'm like, hey, you're my people.
Canada Day is around the corner.
Yes.
Do you have any plans?
We are playing in Richmond Hill, just outside of Toronto. We play Seattle. I don't know when this is airing. We play Seattle tomorrow, which is the day before Canada Day. Mm-hmm. And then we have to somehow make it back to Toronto, even though we're losing the 3 hours, and go right onto the stage. But it's going to be so fun. It's the last show we have for a couple weeks anyway. And just, celebrating it back home with, probably we'll let loose and finally drink some tequila.
Yes.
We've been trying not to drink a lot on this tour.
You've been trying to stay healthy?
Do I say that every time I talk to you?
No. Last time we talked, you were
still
trying to stay
quit.
Healthy. You were trying to stay healthy on the road.
Yeah.
Is your band still feeding you junk food?
You know what? They're really bad. Like if they eat just like
better?
Gummy bears for lunch, they're totally fine with it.
Okay.
I don't like that about them as people, but I envy them. But you know what? They're super healthy. Chris has got super healthy. He's like tucking in his shirts now, and he's all like slim. They're trying to be healthy. Everyone's trying to be healthy. It's hard if you can't. I don't know how like rock stars did it back in the day, like heroin and like,
I don't know.
If I even have a veggie burger instead of a salad some days, I feel like I did heroin.
Really?
Not in a good way, like in the hangover of it way. Yeah, it doesn't make me high or anything.
Oh my goodness. And for the rest of 2019, what would you say you want to see happen?
In the world? I want
in the world for now
the border situation down in the States to go away like tomorrow.
Wow, yeah.
It's crazy. It's heartbreaking. And yeah, can't even talk about it.
Back to the music.
Yeah.
Your music is amazing. Thank you for chatting.
Bless.
That was Ria Mae.